Direct thermal printing. Direct thermal printing doesn't use a ribbon to print, and therefore it's extremely simple to use. In the diagram, we see a thermal printhead and we see our media. The media has been chemically treated with ink that reacts to heat. When heat is applied, it changes, as can be seen in the diagram. There are various advantages and disadvantages to direct thermal printing. Direct thermal printing produces sharp quality prints. It's ideal for applications that only require a short shelf life. They're simple to operate, and the maintenance costs in the long term are quite low. The disadvantages is that direct thermal printing is extremely sensitive to environmental conditions, and the paper remains chemically active after printing. Essentially, what that means is that if you have products that you would like to keep on a shelf for a very long time, it might not survive longer than a couple of months due to the fact that the media itself probably won't last long. In order for that to happen, you would need to have it top coated to resist abrasion or any chemicals or UV light exposure such as the sun in order for it to last long, therefore pushing your cost up. If you're looking for an application that lasts a bit longer than 2 months, I would recommend that you go for thermal transfer printing. So thermal transfer printing is essentially very similar to direct thermal, except that it uses ink. So what happens is that the ink is absorbed so that the image becomes part of the media. So in the diagram, we see our thermal printhead. Here is our ribbon that is being inserted, and here we have our media base, for example, a label. Now what happens is that the thermal printhead will actually melt this film back in and transfer the ink onto the paper. Now there are various advantages also to this type of printing as well as disadvantages. The advantages is that thermal transfer printing delivers high quality, maximum readability and scannability. And the reason for this is that the paper itself is not affected by the heat of the paper of the printer, or is not affected by accident, scuffing, or any of that. Thermal transfer printing produces long life, image stability. There's virtually no waste if you're doing large batches. And compared to an inkjet or dot matrix printer, the maintenance costs are quite low. The disadvantages is that they require ribbon, and therefore the supply costs are much higher than direct thermal. However, the thermal transfer printheads last longer because it's not being applied directly to the media. Of course, with the media, a lot of it is very porous, which means that it actually damages the printhead with the more you print. So by having this plastic film between the paper and the printhead, it actually preserves your printhead for a longer period. If you're only printing a 2-inch or 3-inch and you're not using the full ribbon, a lot of it can be wasted. So if you're not printing a lot, then it can seem like a bit of a waste on the ink side.